Do you know that as a Long Beach High School student, you are eligible for a membership at Keesler Federal Credit Union? Keesler Federal is more than a bank. It's a credit union and a not-for-profit financial cooperative. This means you share in the ownership. We work to help you prosper, not investors. Keesler Federal offers a wide variety of financial products and services, great rates and extra benefits, such as free checking and savings account, free online and mobile banking, and an annual savings contest. So come in with a parent and talk to one of our friendly team members about what Keesler Federal can do for you. When you join, you are a member for life, and we will be there for every step of your financial journey. Going the extra mile for our members since 1947, Keesler Federal Credit Union, where you are more than a customer, you are family.
The Glass Doctor will fix your pain.
Glass Doctor is a proud supporter of Long Beach schools. Call Glass Doctor for all your home, auto, and business glass needs.
Call the Glass Doctor will fix your pains. Oh yeah!
Hello, everybody. Welcome to the Coaches Show featuring Jacob Massey, head football coach, Long Beach, Mississippi. I'm Tony McGill. This is Tim Delaney. I'm the play-by-play guy, the football color coordinator. Does a good job. Enjoy doing ball games with him. Well, how about last week, Coach?
Yeah, it was a tough one.
We're in division play now.
Yeah, not having SJ and Jaden really hurt, we knew that we would probably struggle covering them in the secondary, but I thought our kids played hard, it was a 2-3 score ball game, late into the third quarter, and we hung around and, just weren't able to run the football when it came down to it. They did a really good job of stopping all of our veer stuff and our option, and we struggled at times to protect Will. Thought we had some routes open at times, but either the protection broke down or a receiver dropped the ball or anything like that. But we came out and we competed with one of the best teams, not only in our district but I think in South Mississippi.
Yeah, absolutely.
We're able to do some things, I think, to make Deuce hold on to the football a little longer than he wanted to. He ended up throwing a pick that set up a touchdown for us right there for us to go ahead 14-7.
Brody Peeler.
Yep.
Called his name all year, stepped up.
Yep, stepped up.
Injuries, next man up.
Next man up, filled in well for us, another young kid, he's a sophomore. Had to step in there and play for us. Made some tackles, as well. Yep. Had the big interception, but I was proud of how we went back and watched the film on Friday night, Sunday, and then watched it again on Monday. Defensively in the box, I thought we played fairly well. We just had some coverage breakdowns. And they got us mismatched on some guys that aren't great covering and on some of their speedier receivers, and that caused some issues. They had the two long passes. well, actually, 3 long passes. And then we had, Rashad was in great coverage on a third down down here in the south end zone. We could have gotten him off the field, and he was all over the guy. Deuce does a back shoulder fade.
Yeah.
Kid makes a phenomenal play. But good football teams, they find a way to have the ball bounce their way, and that's just something the last couple of years that we just hadn't had the ball bounce our way, at times, and that was evident Friday. But I did think the kids played hard. I liked our plan going into it.
Coach, did you script the first 2 series?
Well, we did.
We thought it was brilliant.
Yeah.
It clearly
we
you saw
talked
stuff
about
in the
it
film
the
that
whole
you
time.
could take advantage of,
That's right.
and you did it. You executed it perfectly.
We did. I do a script for every game, and sometimes we get away from it. It's all about, to me as a play caller, it comes down to feel,
Right,
and
sure.
what has looked good in practice all
Right.
week, what hadn't looked good in practice all week, and we were just trying to find some ways to break some tendencies. The Petal game, the South Jones game, I think they were kind of picking up on some of our tendencies as far as, whether, when we liked, out of this formation, we like to run strong,
Right.
out of this one, we like to run weak.
Sure.
And so we tried to get him some different looks and try to use Dre as a motion guy to get him the ball, to use him as a decoy.
It was well designed and well executed the first 2 times y'all touched the ball.
We felt good about our plan. The thing about George County's defense, and they're going to give some people some issues, is their front 7 is probably going to be about as good as that you're going to see. And I say that we're going to see another one on Friday night that they're going to be pretty good as well. But
Next 2 Fridays.
And the week after.
and the week after that, so we're
Pascagoula and Picayune.
we're running
next
through the
2
gauntlet
weeks.
right now, and I say we're running through the gauntlet. The rest of the year is going through the gauntlet. But I like I said, I was proud of our kids. We struggled in coverage, we struggled in running the football, running our veer stuff, and that was ultimately what cost us the football game.
Yeah, you changed it up a little bit.
Yeah.
Well, we were really impressed. We figured it was. I said, you always hear in the pros in college they've scripted what they want to do to start the game, and we really felt, because the execution was there, the play call was slick, and we were appreciating it up there. It was fun to watch.
And you could hear their coaches in the box next to us. They were mad because you clearly had found a
They got
weakness that you
loud.
took advantage of.
Yeah.
They adjusted to it.
Well,
but
we weren't sure that we would see Deuce night, and all the hoopla right now is on Deuce
Well,
night.
I knew because on Monday I got a call from Auburn University saying, "Hey, we're sending
They
the
were gonna
coach,"
be
and
here.
that was a telltale sign that he was fixing to play. And good for him.
Was Auburn there to see any of his receivers or anything? Do you know?
No, they weren't. They were
that
there
was
to
speculation
watch
on my
him. Yeah,
part.
Yeah,
So.
and I was talking to Coach Ray before the game. They've got all of their offensive skill positions who are seniors. They've got an offer from either a Division I or a junior college. But I think their best player, maybe outside of Deuce, is number 99, that defensive end.
Yeah,
I
He
do
was-
too. I do too.
we had about 6 or 7 films on George County, and they played Biloxi, they played East Central, they played Van Cleve, they played Greene County, some really really good football teams, and nobody has blocked him yet. So, and he's only got 2
He's
junior.
the real deal.
He's only got 2 junior college offers, which blows my mind because if we had a guy like that. We would look a lot different on defense.
Changes
And,
everything you do.
He does. Our plan was, we were going to allow Will to check away from 99. That was kind of our plan all week. And when we did run away from him, we got yards. So whenever you can have one player set him up on one side of the formation and he dictates everything
what you
that
have to do, sure.
it becomes an issue. He causes a lot of havoc. He was the one right there on our first drive. Will throws the out to Andre. As soon as he releases that ball, 99's hitting him in the mouth.
Yeah.
So, he was a menace all night, and he was a good football player. They took him out a little bit in the third quarter. We started moving the ball a little bit. They throw him right back in. He's a really good football player, and I was very impressed with him. But at the end of the day, they did a really good job of taking Andre away, in the second half and kind of limiting him. And with us being short some skill players, that was unfortunate. But I will say this, we had to move Rashad from corner. He's playing a lot of receiver now. I thought has done a very good job filling in for SJ and Jaden.
Yes.
He's just a good football player.
He is a good football player, and we've been happy with his effort. He blocks really well. Sometimes he gets holding calls, but it's because he's being aggressive, and that just comes
he's
with the
real
territory.
aggressive. He'll bring it to you. Made a nice catch in the end zone.
He did make a nice catch, ran the wrong route.
I said that during the game. I said, I know.
I told
I'm
him
sure that
that was the old hide route you were running, and he just saw. Well, as I told Tony, he just saw the ball in the air and said, "I can go get that."
That's right. He
And
did.
went
That's
and made
what
a
he did.
rebound.
And we tell the kids all the time.
he was supposed to break through the middle. Was he on the post?
No,
Or
he was
curl?
He was the hitch guy.
He was
You
the
were
hitch
the
guy.
flag,
We knew
Curl
that
hitch,
we knew they were in man, and so we were trying to out leverage that safety and get
Yep.
Dre in the corner of the end zone.
I told someone last night. I think he was supposed to run a curl.
But we tell the kids all the time, like, look, we're not going to fuss at you. If you mess up your assignment, make a play. So
That's right.
If you make a mistake, do it 100%.
That's right. So
He went up and got the ball, and it was on the tailgate tent side of the football
It was.
field, and we were laughing because they were running back and forth, and everybody was excited. It was a nice play. It was a lot of fun. Before we move on to next week, injury-wise, we come out of that.
Yeah,
okay?
we came out pretty clean. Devin Sharp, during the fall break practices leading up to George County, hurt his knee. We were a little worried about that, but he's going to be able to come back next week. So, with the addition of playing a really good football team, we started 3 freshmen on the offensive line. 2 of them been playing all year, had to play another freshman. And look, I can't say enough about our offensive line.
No.
They've done a great job, specifically
Fantastic
speaking.
job.
And you can speak probably to this, but when you have 2 freshmen playing anywhere, much less the offensive line, you're going to tend to struggle. But I think that's probably been one of our stronger units, all year. But it's unfortunate that we had to start 2 freshmen there because we felt really good about Trey Ladner and Gavin Simpson. But it's football. They got hurt. They had season-ending injuries, and those freshmen have really stepped up and played well.
You got a 15-year-old lining up against a 19-year-old.
That's right.
There's a huge
There
difference.
is a huge difference.
A huge difference.
But the maturity between those that age gap is unbelievable.
Oh, yeah.
And we talk about that on the air a lot too. Well, let me just say, before the game, we did a pregame on because it was youth football night. The New Orleans Saints youth development director was here, and we had the opportunity to interview him in the third quarter. But we did our opening down because we wanted to be with the kids. So grab the mic on the field interview. Coach Delaney pointed out something I hadn't thought about. But Pasco, who'd we play? George County. Goodness.
They're all maroon, so
Their skilled people were bigger than our linemen.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
And there was about 45 or 50, which is more than we have on the football team. It's tough to compete at this division, Coach, when your skilled people on the other team is as big as your linemen.
Oh, yeah. And,
with 4.5, 4.6, 4.7 speed.
Well, and, number one, he was probably more of like a 4.3. I think Coach Ray said that he was,
he stood out.
A 10.6 and 100. So, that's there's guys in the Olympics that are running that.
I remember Bob Hayes back when went on to play with the Dallas Cowboys. Broke a world record at 10-1.
Mm-hmm.
A 100-yard dash, and they used to run that 100-yard. I think it's
now it's 100 meters.
100 meters, which is 120 yards.
110.
110. So we saw a lot of speed,
Mm-hmm.
but size is what was the most thing. He did his little walkthrough with his Wendy's, his Ward's hamburger
plug
bag.
for Ward's here.
He goes and bumps shoulders with them, or as he says, his shoulders bump waist. So they were big and strong, and I think we'll see that the rest of the year. I just wanted to point that out that. I wanted to make you feel good that their skilled people were bigger than our.
Well, we sat there and
we just don't have the size.
And it's a 28-13 ball game at halftime. You're only down 2 scores to a really good football team.
Unbelievable.
And we don't, as coaches, we don't like moral victories. But if you don't try to find something positive,
you got to find something positive.
You're going to drive yourself crazy. But we're rolling into Pascagoula this week, and it's a team that we had on the ropes last year. So
got them.
Our kids are I don't think there's any doubt all year. Our kids have played hard in every single football game. They have not quit yet.
No doubt.
And I don't think that you're going to see that. Come Friday night, they're going to go over to Pascagoula and they're going to give them everything that they've got, and hopefully we can have the ball bounce our way. Speaking about the ball bouncing our way, we get on there and score. Surprise on side it. We get it.
Yeah. we
And
were
then they don't
confused-
give it to us.
We
So,
were
I mean,
confused about that.
How
Coach,
many
we're
times?
sitting
How
at
many
the
times has
50-yard
that
line.
happened this year?
3 or 4 times.
We were confused about what happened because
I'm gonna
they
tell
had
you
called
something.
it our way, and then after the offense is on the field, they changed their mind.
Yeah, I don't understand why it happens to us. You talk about pedal. They surprise onside it, we recover it, and then all of a sudden they end up with the football. Like that's the frustrating thing. Not for me as a coach, but I'm sitting there. Our kids, we're trying to find every opportunity that we can to give our kids a chance to be successful, and then it just feels like it gets taken away from them.
Yeah.
But we tried. We were going to try to do some things in the kicking game to try to gain a couple of possessions here and
Yeah,
there,
right,
because
sure.
you've got to. You've
Keep
got
the
to
ball
find an
away from
edge.
him. Sure.
Win all 3 phases of the game, like
know,
Coach
and-
Delaney said last week.
Allen kicked a couple out of bounds. That if he kicks that ball in bounds right there, we've got a chance to recover it. And then he recovered the surprise onside, and we had a few other things that we were going to do. But by the time we got to that, the game had kind of gotten a little out of hand.
Well, we'll use them next week.
Was it 99 that blocked that extra point?
It was, yeah.
Yeah.
He was all over.
He
the
just
field.
came
Yeah,
straight
no.
through the egg gap. Didn't he?
Unbelievable.
I think he's probably their team MVP. He's going to show up on everybody's tape, and everybody's going to have to figure out how are we going to have an answer for 99.
You have to
because
adjust to it.
He's really good, and he's not a big kid. He's 6 foot, but he's quick as a hiccup, and whenever you have a guy
Great
that's
feet.
that
Just-
strong at defensive line, that's an issue. It's a mismatch.
That's right.
But I was, like I said, I was proud of the way our kids played.
Oh, yeah.
George County's got a really good football team.
They do.
And I think they're going
It's
to
a
make a
different
little.
team with Deuce Knight. their
It is,
quarterback.
and I was talking to Coach Ray before the game. Their backup quarterback was playing against Hattiesburg, and it's 21-21 in the third quarter against Hattiesburg.
Undefeated
so
Hattiesburg.
just imagine
Yeah.
if Deuce is playing, what that game looks like. And I think Hattiesburg is going to have a chance. They're going to play for a South Half championship.
Yeah, absolutely.
They might be playing George County, depending on what George County does to Gula and Picayune. We'll just have to see. But I still think our division's the toughest one.
No
I think
doubt.
they
Absolutely.
match up well with the one just right up the road. I think it's the West Jones, the Hattiesburgs. I think Laurel may be in that one. I'm not real sure, but I feel like
Someone upset Laurel this week in Laurel, and I can't remember who it was.
But I think
that's going to be a tough contest.
George County,
here on out.
unfortunately, they're. It just depends on what they do against Picayune and Pascagoula. But any of those 3 teams, they're potentially looking at being the 3 seed out of our division, which is crazy. Which is crazy.
Crazy.
But they're going to go up there. They're going to play a 2 seed and probably beat that 2 seed.
Yeah, how would you like to be in another division and you're up top in your division, you look down and you draw George County?
No, I mean, yeah.
Holy cow.
Or
Number 4
for
quarterback
that
in the
matter,
nation.
Pascagoula.
Sure.
So it's just one of those things where we've got a loaded division, and we're gonna have to figure out some things. We got to find 2. We've got 4 opportunities to find 2 wins, and our kids are going to play to make it in the playoffs.
Well, we put George County behind us.
Yep. Mhm.
First district game of the year. Put Deuce Knight behind us. Now you have Silas Corder
Yeah.
with Pascagoula. Now, Silas Corder, another great quarterback, already signed
Might be
with
every bit as good.
Yeah,
Southern Miss.
they're different.
Golden Eagles.
They're different players. Deuce is a phenomenal athlete. We're never, whenever you were coaching, you're never going to see another Deuce Knight. I mean, as far as the talent,
Right.
That's
being
right.
able to throw, run,
Right.
size. I'm talking
The
about
best
the total
I've
package.
seen in all the years I've put in.
That's right.
The
So,
best I've seen.
he is a special talent. Whereas Silas, these 2 kids, they're the best 2 quarterbacks in the state. They may be the best 2 quarterbacks that we've seen in the last decade,
Sure.
maybe even 2 decades.
Yeah. It is for me.
So he's got a little bit different game. You can tell they give him a lot of freedom to kind of do what they want to do. They allow him to kind of find matchups, find open receivers. He likes to check it at the line of scrimmage. So he's very cerebral as far as knowing what defenses are trying to do, and he's got a very good grasp of what they're trying to do on offense. And then you couple that with they've got some really good receivers just like George County. They look very similar at the skill position as George County did. I think their tailback's probably a little bit faster, and maybe their offensive line is a little bit better than George County. But they're impressive, and I've been really impressed with the Silas Quarter kid. And we saw him last year. I think we were able to take some things away from him in the passing game last year, and then they hurt us on the run. Which I think will be a little bit better against the run this year. Our box is a little bit better. And we've got some young kids that they're starting to kind of come into themselves. Defensively, Pascagoula is going to be very similar to George County. Now, they don't have a 99, but they've got 4 really good linebackers. They've got a kid, I don't know if he is committed to Ole Miss, but he just got an offer from Ole Miss. So, their secondary is probably going to be a little bit better than George County's, and their box is going to be very similar.
Okay, we put Pascagoula behind us, and then the next week we're going to have Picayune, and I just want to throw that in there. We've got quarterbacks is okay. He's not Deuce Knight, and he's not Quarter. But we got a running back that we'll be looking at.
They don't feature their quarterback, Coach. They don't feature their quarterback.
No, they don't.
They feature him as a blocker.
But this running back they've got, and we'll talk about that more next week. But I just wanted to mention that we've got a tough schedule, and that running back they telling me is better than Dante Dowdell, who was their featured back a few years.
And the Chris Davis kid, they had
Chris Davis. That's what I was trying to think of his name
earlier.
earlier.
So you had Dowdell. He went to Oregon, then he transferred to Nebraska. Then you had the Chris Davis kid. He ended up at Stanford, and then they've got this kid. I mean, how many times
every week you turn around, or every year they got a new one rolling in.
That's right. That's good. That's playing.
And if you watch them play JV, they've got other ones coming up. I mean, they're not going to lose a step.
And no offense to Southern Miss or South Alabama, but these kids aren't going to Southern Miss, South Alabama,
way out of state,
or anything like
not
that. They're
the next
going
state
top
over.
10 teams.
They're going Big 10, Big 12. SEC, and this kid's no different. I think he's going to have a chance to, play some major Division I college football. I know he's committed to ULL, but I think his talent's better than that. So you never know.
278 yards rushing last week on 32 carries, and so he's a workhorse.
He is
hard nose. Saw film on him. Can't tackle him.
But
the first one's not going to tackle him.
You sit here and you're looking at the schedule and you're like, when are we going to have a chance to catch our breath? But right after Picayune, you got Hancock, who was a playoff team, and it looks like they're in a really good position, beating West Harrison last week to make the playoffs again. And then you look at West Harrison on film, and they look just as good as a Picayune or a Pascagoula or George County just on the eye test. Yeah. So, it doesn't get any easier. You don't get a break. You got to play week in and week out. And like I said, we just got to figure out a way to stay healthy and find 2 wins within the next 4 weeks.
Listening to WWL on the radio yesterday with Bobby Aber and them, there's 32 New Orleans Saints busted up right now. And I'm taking that, and I'm, you always hear next man up, next man up. Well, next man up's not the starter.
Yeah.
And it's
for
tough.
a reason.
And I had an injury report in our pregame the other day for us. Just guys off the top of my head I was thinking about, like Trey Ladner and Gavin Simpson and SJ and some of the other guys. But we're almost in the same boat because it's every phase of the game. As Coach Delaney talks about, there's 3 phases: offense, defense, and special teams. You've got injuries on all 3 phases. And so it's tough to overcome and to now the positive side of that, we're playing young kids now too, and they're getting that varsity playing experience, whether it helps them or hurts them, So we just keep on plugging along, just keep on going. You can definitely tell the difference the weight room's made this year. I think we need to go back to grass. No, we're getting injuries all over, not just on our field. Which, I was thinking about SJ, but let's keep on keeping on. Let's go out and let's get us some Pascagoula this week.
I think so. I'm excited about it. The kids, they play up to that. Especially when they found out Deuce was playing, they were ready to go out and play against a kid that's got some major Division I offers. He's been offered by some of the best programs in the country. Notre Dame, Auburn, and the same thing is going to be said for Pascagoula. Quarters committed to Southern Miss, and then their safety who's a good-looking kid. He's 6'3", 6'4", and can flat out fly. He's got an offer from Ole Miss, you know. So the kids have a great opportunity, you know, to put their talent out there, to put themselves out there, you know, for other coaches to see. And, you know, I think it'll be a great opportunity for our kids. And they'll be looking forward to it, especially with the fact that we played them so close last year.
Well, before we close and y'all go to the chalkboard, just want to say appreciate all the listeners. Well, I don't care where I go. Like I said, I'm at a funeral yesterday, and I had 4 people come up to me, and there was probably only 40 or 50 people there, and they're all watching. They're watching the game. They're watching the coaches show, and I appreciate that. How long have y'all been doing TV and getting these little questions like that? Well, I don't know if it'd be called TV, but we're playing. Me and Delaney's playing in a big market. Yeah. So we're enjoying it. I'm to thank Kenny Triplett for doing all of this. But we are broadcasting live from Pascagoula and Picayune for the next 2 weeks, so we know that. And then we'll be back home the third week against Hancock.
Yep.
And then we go to West Harrison and ramp it up. So y'all continue to, if you have any questions or comments, hit me on Facebook, hit Coach Delaney. And
Stay on the bandwagon, people.
yeah, we like it. We're enjoying it. So y'all have a good day.
Help support Long Beach School District's Bearcat Broadcast Network Student Production Program. Use code 1622 to get $3 off of Rosalie Station's Best Car Wash, regularly $18, with code now only $15, while supporting our BBN students of LBTV, LBMTV, and HMETV. Rosalie Station is located at 96 Jeff Davis Avenue. So get a discount and support your Bearcat Broadcast Network. Again, code 1622. Thank you for supporting your Long Beach Bearcat Broadcast Network. Go Bearcats!
All right, folks, we're back again with Coach Massey and the Coaches Show, except this time we're on the board talking football. We're going to talk a little bit about more what you see on Sundays than what you see in high school. And everybody that's got a stud at running back likes to run this, and that is the inside and outside zone. Not a read, just handing it to the big boy, letting him pick his hole based on the blocking scheme. So, Coach, talk to us.
Yeah, you know, probably the one that kind of made this, I guess, famous, and I can't remember who his O-line coach was, but Mike Shanahan at the Denver Broncos, you know, when they had Terrell Davis, they were a huge inside-outside zone. I think it might have been Gary Kubiak that was his offensive coordinator. And, you know, his son's now, I think, the offensive coordinator for the Saints. But, you know, they were big when they were running this in the late 90s, early 2000s. You know, they were in this one-back set right here with a tight end. You know, I had an old guy tell me one time, if you're not playing with a tight end, then you're probably not going to be worth a crap, you know. But
I'm old school, so I like them.
You know, so the first thing and then about this is, you know, they're going to try to identify. I got 11 up there, 3 right there.
Well, stop. Why they have to run this and how, you know, how this kind of came about. I'm counting 6 right here. I'm counting 7 right here. You're one short. And always, you can reiterate this, but always you want to get some kind of double team at the point of attack. You got to get 2 guys on 1 to get some clearance, which really means you got essentially 5 guys trying to block 7. So you're counting on him to make something happen.
Well, and you know, specifically speaking, I'm going to talk about the outside zone first. Is the biggest thing is, number one, you want your running back to read it the appropriate way, and then you're forcing them to fit it up perfectly. So, you know, however they're playing this, you know, a lot of people, they'll play the gaps differently. You know, they could bump this backer in here and say he's going to fill the alley here, or they could flip it line this end up in a 7, have him fit here, and then have the free safety fit in the box.
Right.
It just depends on what type of player that you have. But right here, this guy, his landmark on the read is he is inside leg of the tight end or inside leg of the ghost tight end, depending on if you were running at this, depending on.
If you're empty, folks, that's what they call a ghost.
Right.
You play like a guy's there, but he's not.
So he's tracking the inside leg of the tight end or the ghost tight end right here, and what they're going to try to do is they're identifying, how the defense is playing. So if he's playing an inside technique right here, both of these guys are going to double team that end, more than likely up to this backer right here. He's going to have him by himself.
He's going to zone step?
Yeah, he's going to zone step. A lot of offensive line guys can call it a bucket step. They're going to lose ground to gain ground right here, try to get him reached. And I'll talk a little bit more about that here in just a second. If this guy's far enough away from him, he can climb straight up to the backer. They also tell them, don't go to where he is, go to where he's going to be.
Yes.
Because once you see this stretch,
Yes.
this cat's going to move right here. They can do a number of things right here. If he's a good football player, a decent athlete at the guard, they can try to cut him off there. In high school, you're probably more than likely going to see him cut. Mm-hmm. On the backside, they're going to turn that end loose. I'll get into that more here in just a minute. The running back's reads are, he's reading the end man on the line of scrimmage or the last defensive lineman with his hand in the ground right here. So as he's going, he's trying to search that guy out right there. Obviously, if they take him over, get him sealed up, he's going to bounce it to the next guy. Hopefully he can take him over, climb the backer right there, and then fit off of that. If it's a different look here with the end outside, with the backer in here, he's probably going to take him by himself. They're now going to combo from this up to that. If he feels like that he can take him right there, then he'll give him a call or a word to go ahead and climb. And then this is where I like the stretch better. Is you're reading this end right here. If he can't get him reached, he's going to stick his foot in the ground, and then his next read key goes to the next defensive lineman right here. So he's going to stick his foot in the ground. And this is the beauty of the outside zone is if he can stay on his track and he makes his read on the third step, but he doesn't make a move until he gets to the line of scrimmage. So he's stretching here. Hopefully you get this. He's fighting outside because he's been told all week, keep your outside shoulder free.
Don't let him out.
So then you stick your foot in the ground and then you crease him right here.
Right.
Some of the issues, we were a big outside zone team whenever I was at Petal. The biggest issue that you're going to have in this is if you've got some good safeties that can get involved in the run game, it's near impossible to account for them in the run game. So if they can fit here and feel, and then you've got some ways to kind of keep them honest. We were big at Petal. Of course, we were out of the gun right here, but you can always run, a front side post to keep him honest right there if he starts to get nosy in the run game.
Or as we used to tell him, be your own blocker.
That's it. What's great about this play is you see I did not account for him. What they usually do with that is the NFL, they have all kinds of time, but they can motion a guy in here, say, hey, we're going to get an extra hat in the run game. They're going to fake here, bootleg here, and then they'll bring this guy across.
Yeah, quarterback usually accounts for that backside with the boot action.
That's right. And then if he's getting nosy and starting to chase it down, they'll come back and they'll run the bootleg off of that. But the outside zone, it's a great play. It's been around for a long time.
Yes, it is.
And people have started doing, there's a number of variations that you can do on it. Probably what you're seeing the most, and you're going to see it Friday night because Pascagoula does it, but they're going to get in this type of set right here. They'll put him in sidecar. And then it just comes down to numbers right here. So if you want to play them in that 4-3 that the pros really like right here, you have no way, well, I guess you do have a way of accounting for these two backside. You could always run your stretch play, bring him out on the boot right here if you're wanting to take care of that guy. And if he starts getting nosy, you can run the bootleg back to the backside. Or if you want to switch it up on him, you can run your outside zone here. These two will be comboing because he's essentially the tight end right here. So the last person that you have to account for is there, and they'll run, double slant there. So if he wants to get nosy fighting over the top right here and he doesn't want to stay at home, then they'll slip that.
Yeah,
that
we
slant
talked about the
there.
RPO, which also is part of that game. But
So
just running the ball.
At the end of the day, you're trying to gain an advantage. They've got 7, you've only got 6. So you've got to have a way to account for him, whether it's the bootleg or it's the RPO. So, a lot of people have taken, a play that's been around for a long time, put it in the spread. We've done it a little bit since I've been here, running out of split backs. But it's just a very versatile play that no matter what type of player that you have, you can run this play. But it really all depends on
how good he is.
How good he is. How good is he at reading this? He's sitting here. Can he stick his foot in the ground? Can he get north and south? Or can he beat him around the edge right there? And that's some of the things that you have to look for.
It's kind of where the jump cut came from, too, wasn't it?
It is, and the jump cut's probably going to be more of your inside zone
right,
type stuff.
Right.
And we can go ahead and talk about that. Probably an inside zone and outside zone, they marry up very well with each other. I'm going to draw it up out of a different formation. You saw, in the late 2000s, this is kind of the formation that it originated out of, whether it's the broken eye right here, we're putting him strong or putting him weak, or lining him up in the standard eye right there. We're kind of getting into Tony's lingo right here.
If we get in the eye, Tony's going to be smiling big.
But if you're, and the beauty of the inside zone rather than the outside zone is when you're running outside zone, can you run it away from the tight end? Yes, you can. But I really like running it to that tight end just so that you, at the end of the day,
double at the point of attack.
Well, you want that outside zone play going outside. Now you see a lot of times your big plays come from him reading it, sticking his foot in the ground, and hitting that crease right there. But your inside zone, a lot of O-line coaches, they're going to say you want to run your inside zone to your A-gap defender. So, a lot of guys will try to do that. And if you run it to your A-gap defender, you know that you're going to get 2 double teams. So he'll turn out on him. They'll double to the front side right there. They're going to double to there. You can do a number of things right here. He can arc to create a little stretch right there, and then he can kick out that end. Talking about the split zone look.
Right.
And then he is downhill. And the reason I say they marry up so well together is you're pressing this A-gap behind this double team. If this guy fights over the top of that double team, he can climb to backer now, and now you're hitting that seam right now. If he stays right here, or if he's trying to split that double team, you can jump cut it and hit it out the backside where, he's fighting over the top. They get this tackle's able to overtake that defensive tackle, and then he cuts off that backer, and now you're out the backside there.
You don't have to win that battle. He just got to hold him to a stalemate.
That's right. And just allow that tackle to kind of overtake him. And the same thing can be said, the beauty of this play is it's meant to take care of just about any defensive front because you're blocking zones, not gaps. The difference between your gap scheme and your zone. That's right. So if you see a lot of teams that want to bring blitzes, this guy, your zone, everybody's zoning left. So you should have every gap accounted for as you're, zoning this way.
And usually you'll see a lot better at it in the NFL.
Yeah.
If you're looking at the line, you'll watch all of these guys, all of the front line kind of stepping the same way and shifting the same way, and when they all move in the same direction.
It's a thing of beauty. I mean, it looks great,
It's
and then, we've kind of gotten, there's a lot of coaches out there that are a lot smarter than I am.
Tony.
But, you've got, they've adapted the inside zone and the wishbone in college. And this is probably where it really becomes really good. So you got your inside zone going there. You're going to double up to backer. You're doubling up to backer. He's taking him. So they got to a point where you're getting guys that are too big to play receiver. They're too athletic to play fullback. They want to be able to get them the ball. So now they're instead of going out here and accounting for that end by kicking him out, what they'll do is they'll cruise him around to this backer here because he's the quarterback player on the pull on the inside zone. So it's getting a good look of your wishbone thing. And you're starting to see a lot of people do a number of different things out of the wishbone, but they'll motion this guy back to here, and he'll be the pitch. So as he's going around, he'll cruise to the safety. So now you've got, your dive key here. So if he squeezes, quarterback's pulling. Now you got your pitch key here, and now you've got numbers.
Got a blocker out there.
And that goes back to your triple option look and all of that. So, they've adopted the outside zone, and the inside zone is a great play because it's so adaptable to what you want to do. You can run it under center. You can run it in the shotgun.
Right.
You can get in spread formations. You can get in heavy formations, and you can still run that. So it's very adaptable, and that's why people like it. You're seeing a lot of this in the NFL. They'll put a tight end in the game, and they'll have an H-back or a wide receiver right here. They'll kind of bluff him here, and then they'll arc to this guy, and then they'll run him on a little chute right here. So if he wants to get squeezed in there, it turns into your bootleg. So, they found a lot of creative ways.
Stay on the board long enough, you can figure
That's
stuff
right,
out.
and that's why I love football is, where are they hurting you, and what answers are you going to have?
An advantage
That's right. So, speaking triple option, been trying to plan for Pascagoula. If they take one thing away, then we better have an answer for that. So,
but don't think, folks, that we're looking at the offense winning every battle here. One day we're going to come back and talk about what they're now teaching these guys how to attack and play the zone. Because, they learned very quickly.
Well, and I'm going to tell you.
I don't know if we have a whole bunch of time for that, but they're teaching those down guys specific techniques against that zone block.
You see a lot, and this is why, coaching football is so hard, is you've got a team like Picayune that's power, power, power. And I watched a video the other day on Nick Saban on College Game Day. Somebody was running power, and he said, wow, they did a great job spilling. That's exactly what you want to do. So you get your kids all year. We've seen all these power, buck, all these gap schemes, and we're like spill, 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 spill.
Sure.
So the other night, George County, whatever they were running, I think it was an inside zone deal. But we go down here, we spilt all year, so they're hard in here. Deuce was able to pull it and score that touchdown right there. But a lot of guys are saying, hey, I'm going to squeeze right here, and then when he pulls it, that end's going to chase him down. It's just like triple option. We never want to pull the ball and pitch off of the dive key. It's not going to be good.
No, it's not going to be good.
So, people have gotten creative on this side of the ball defending these plays, just like offense. And the game's always going to evolve, and it's always going to probably come back to just right now in college. You're seeing a ton of triple option stuff right now. But it's just out of the gun, and people are, if they were under center like Army and Navy, they'd be like, oh, this is boring, but they're running the same concepts. It's flex bone. You've got, wide receiver here.
Favorite formation.
All they're doing is widening them out because this is Army and Navy. It's no different. They just tighten them down and condense them.
Georgia Tech, I think, I don't know.
They, Paul Johnson's no longer there, but, people see under center and they think antiquated, and you're not I'm sure people say that about us, but,
Right.
It's about what your players can do. It's about what they can grasp, and, we just the beauty of running under center stuff is he's getting the ball at the line of scrimmage, whereas in the gun, he's getting it at 5 yards. That's right.
Right. But you're an offensive coach. I was an offensive coach, so easy to get up here and talk offense. One day, folks, we're going to go over here and talk some defense. Because if you coach enough offense, you better learn defense.
That's right. Mm-hmm.
Thank you, people. I hope you got something out of it. And when y'all set up to run zone, when you watch it on TV and you see all those guys moving in the same direction, holler out zone. People think you know what you're talking about. Thanks, Coach.